Welcome to Maths with Bob. Today we are finding the lengths of unknown sides in right angle triangles using trigonometry. And if you have a quick look there, I've got a couple of questions up. First question is about there's a 35-degree angle and the other is a 47.2-degree angle. Now, the first thing before we even start is make sure calculators are in degree mode, not radian or gradient mode. Okay, so I've already typed a few things into the calculator. As you can see here, sine 35 is approximately about 0.57, cosine of 35 is about 0.82, and the tan of 35 is about 0.70. And the same for sine, cos and tan of 47.2, and you can see tan 47.2 is about 1.08. Now, so you can see these are the ratios of the side lengths for that particular angle. Now, and we're going to use this idea of setting up ratio equations to solve for the unknown variable x. Now, first thing is we have to try and work out what ratio to use in each of the triangles. So if we look at question 1, let's actually have a look at the two pieces of information we're given. First up, we're given x, okay, which we know, or we don't know, but we can see it's actually opposite the angle. We can see also 20. Okay, and we can see that's opposite the right angle, so that should be the hypotenuse. Okay, so what I do is I normally would write in, okay, that one's the opposite, and the 20 is the hypotenuse, and I've got an O and a H. Then I have to sort of look at my phrase SOHCAHTOA and try and work out what ratio should I use. Well, it's going to be sine, cos, or tan. We don't use the reciprocal ratios, sec, cosec, or cot. So we just have to work out, is it sine, cos, or is it tan? Now, O and H. So we go to the phrase and we look for the O and the H. And hopefully we can all see that there it is there at the front, SO. So we know we're going to use the sine ratio. So what I usually do is inside the triangle I put an S to remind myself that I'm going to use the sine ratio. And we set the ratio up. So the sine of this particular angle, 35 degrees, okay, we know it's roughly about 0.57, but it is, in terms of the ratio of the sides, the opposite, x, which is not known, and over the 20, which is the hypotenuse. Now this is a little equation which we have to solve now. So we have to solve this equation. So we need to isolate the x, so we would multiply everything by 20, both sides by 20, and hopefully we can do that, and we get x is equal to 20 times the sine of 35 degrees. Now, we can get an approximation for this already. I mean, we know that sine 35 is 0.57, and 20 times 0.57, well, 10 times 0.57 is 5.7, so we double that and we get about 11.4. So if we actually do this on the calculator, we can see that the answer is actually approximately, I think, 11.47. Okay, and the units are centimetres, and this is actually 2 decimal places. Okay, correct, 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's have a look at the other triangle on question 2. Okay, what sides do we have? Well, x, again, the unknown, you can see here is opposite the right angle, so that would be the hypotenuse, and the 20 over here, you can see here, well, it's not the opposite, so it would be the adjacent. Okay, so let's write that in. This is what I usually do, is I just write down, okay, x is the hypotenuse and the 20 is the adjacent. Okay, and then we look at the phrase and try and work out what ratio we're going to use, and hopefully we can see, aha, there it is, cos. So we're going to use the cosine ratio, so we'd put a C inside the triangle to indicate we're going to use the cosine ratio. Then we go, okay, let's set the ratio up. So the cosine of this angle, 47.2, is equal to, well, we can look up there, 0.68. That's what the cosine of that angle is. And we look at the ratio, which is now the adjacent, 20 over x. Okay, so this is how the equation we have to solve now. And we need to make x the subject. So we need to, a lot of people can actually just swap that around and say, okay, x is equal to 20 divided by cos 47.2 straight off. But how we can do it is we multiply everything by, algebraically, multiply everything by x. X cos 47.2 is equal to 20, and then divide by everything, both sides by the cos 47.2. And x is equal to 20 divided by the cosine of 47.2. Now let's just have a look. We know the cosine of 47.2 is actually about 0.68, so we think, well, 20 divided by, 0.68 could be roughly about, say, 30 or so, and when we actually do the calculations, the answer is 29.44. Okay, so x turns out to be 29.44. The units are centimeters, and it's correct. I've rounded off to 2 decimal places. Okay, well, this is just a couple of examples. You can see, obviously, if we had the opposite and the adjacent, we'd use tan. But, okay, so we just set up an equation with the angle, and we can we know the value of the angle from, obviously we need a calculator for that. But after we isolate the x, we just type all the values into the calculator and solve for the unknown side x. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll do some more exercises or examples in future videos. Thank you. Bye.